In this video, we're going to disassemble, clean, lubricate, and reassemble the Ruger Security 9 or Security 380 Lite Rack pistol. This is the 380 version, but the Security 9 disassembles and cleans up the same exact way. So first, of course, we're going to unload the gun, remove the magazine, and make sure there's no round in the chamber. Now we're going to field strip the gun. We're going to remove the slide, and in order to do that, we need to close the slide. We want to take a hold of the gun. We want to line up this notch with this takedown pin. This takedown pin comes right out. All right, if you have trouble getting that out, you can get a screwdriver, but make sure you put some tape around the screwdriver so you don't scratch up your slide. And once that is out, the slide comes right off the front. Turn it upside down, put pressure on the recoil spring and guide rod, pull that out. Now you can lift up the barrel, pull that out. It's now apart as far as it needs to be for cleaning. So in order to clean this gun, we're just going to take some original gun oil, which is a CLP, which is a cleaner, lubricant, and protectant. Basically, we're going to use it as a cleaner. We're going to coat the dirty areas of the gun, let it sit for a few minutes, then we're going to wipe everything down to clean it up. We're going to put a bore snake through the barrel to clean the inside of the barrel up, and then we're going to put a little tiny bit of lube on it and reassemble. We don't need much to clean the gun. All I'm going to use here is, as I said, original gun oil, which is a CLP. We're going to use some long cotton swabs. We have some short cotton swabs here as well. A good gun brush with a small brush and a large brush. An old toothbrush will fit the bill here. I've got a bunch of cut up t-shirts to use as rags. And the easiest way to clean the inside of your barrel is with a bore snake. This is a Hoppe's bore snake designed for 380 or 9mm. These are pretty inexpensive, so we're going to use that to clean the inside of the barrel. Okay, so first we're just going to take some cleaner, which is our CLP here, and we're just going to coat each piece a little bit. You can use gloves if you want. This is non-toxic, so I don't use gloves. I'm not too worried about it. I'm just going to get some original gun oil on each piece. You don't need a whole lot. On this part, I'm just going to brush it. Just going to brush it on here. Just get a little coating of original gun oil cleaner all over each piece. For the barrel, I'm going to put a couple drops in the barrel. I'm going to use a cotton swab just to lightly kind of smear it around in there a little bit. It's okay if you get a little bit too much in there. We're going to wipe it all out. It's all going to come out. Get that in there, and that's just going to start loosening the dirt. We'll put a little on the outside as well. You can use a rag to apply it. I just use my fingers. It's just the easiest way. On the slide, put a couple of drops, especially the slide cuts along the inside edge. That's where the slide moves along the frame, so you want to make sure those are clean. Just some drops. The only place you don't want to get oil is in the firing pin hole right here. This is the breech face, and this is the firing pin hole. You don't want to get oil in there. All right, so then you just kind of smear the oil around. Try and get it on every surface a little bit. We're going to let it sit for a little while to loosen up any dirt. All right, if the outside is dirty, you can also put a little bit there, but the outside of mine isn't too bad. We're going to wipe everything down. It's going to get everything nice and clean. On the frame, we just need to get mostly this part up here. We just want to get a little oil up around this area here where the slide moves back and forth. So we don't want to get it all over the grip frame. Just a couple of drops here and here, here, here. We just kind of smear that around. And we're just going to let everything sit for about 5 minutes, and then we're going to wipe it all down. All right, it's been a little bit of time since we coated these with oil, so now I'm just going to wipe everything down. Start with a takedown pin. Just going to wipe that down real good, get that nice and clean. We're just going to use cotton rag here. Next, I'm going to take the recoil spring and guide rod assembly. We're just going to wipe that down. I like to try and get between in the grooves here. Twist that all the way up, and it's going to get that all nice and clean. The other thing you could do is get your gun brush, kind of clean it up a little bit, get the oil off of it. Then you can use the bristles to push the rag in between the grooves there, and then kind of turn the spring. Yeah, gets it pretty clean. All right, that's looking pretty clean. Set that aside. Next, we're going to do the barrel. Now the barrel, we want to wipe the outside of it off. That's nice and easy. Now we're going to get our bore snake, and this is a 380 and 9mm bore snake. So we're just going to feed the bore snake through the barrel, and it's got built-in copper brushes, which is going to help loosen any caked on dirt that might be in there. And it's going to scrape it, fits nice and tight. And then the rest of the bore snake is going to wipe everything nice and clean. I usually run the bore snake through 2 or 3 times, and that's going to get the inside of that barrel super clean. Run it through from the breech end to the muzzle end, like this. This is definitely the fastest way and the least messy way to clean the inside of the barrel. Then when you look down the barrel, you can see how nice and clean that is. Lastly, on the barrel is you want to make sure that the feed ramp is nice and clean and shiny. This is where the rounds get forced up into the barrel between shots. All right, now that's all you need to do for the barrel. Barrel's nice and clean. Now to get the slide clean, something I found that works pretty well, because there's a lot of deep nooks and crannies here, is throw your cotton rag over there and use your brush to kind of push the rag in there. It gets down, and the brush will force the rag down into all the little nooks and crannies, all the tight spots, and it's going to get the vast majority of all that cleaner out of there. Use the small one to get down in the tighter spots, like that. Use the brush, use the bristles of the brush to force the rag down into the tight spots. All right, then after you get most of it up like that, get your cotton swabs. I like these. It's got a smaller tip and a larger tip. And this tip fits right in the slots here that you want to get nice and clean. So just use cotton swabs to get all the final little areas out of there. Doesn't have to be spotless, but you want to definitely get any kind of buildup out of there. Then anywhere else that you see the cleaner, just go down and get it down into the, just use your swabs until you get everything pretty nice and clean. And you're also going to want to make sure the breech face right here, just get the breech face nice and clean right there. And you especially want to get, so if you look carefully here, you see kind of a hook right here. That's actually what's called the extractor, and that's what grabs on to the base. That little hook in there is what grabs onto your rounds to pull them out of the chamber after it's been fired. So it's very important that you make sure that area is clean underneath that little extractor hook. Wipe down the outside and the sides of the slide until it's nice and clean. Okay, been working on this a little bit. I got this real nice and clean. This slot right here, called the slide cut on both sides. As long as that's nice and clean, you're good to go. All right, so next is the frame. We want to do the same thing. Going to use the brush and a rag to clean all those areas. Get some in there real good. Get down inside there with the rag. I like to push a rag through the grip to just kind of pull any dirt out through there like that. Just wipe everything down like you did on the slide. And then get in there with your cotton swabs, any areas that you couldn't get with the cloth and the brush. Then again, you want to get in these little slide areas here. Make sure they're nice and clean. The beauty of using a CLP like we're using here, you don't have to get every little bit out of there because it's also a lubricant. So that's just going to help make things work nice and smooth. Pretty nice and clean there. All right, now we're going to lubricate. Okay, now as far as lubrication, the Ruger manual calls for a very, very small amount of lube on this firearm. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a couple of drops of oil on this rag here. And all I'm going to do is lightly wipe the outside of the barrel. Get the barrel lug right here, which helps it lock up. All right, a little bit of lube there. You don't really need to lube this, but it wouldn't hurt. Just take that little bit of oil and just kind of wipe it on there a little bit. This pin here, wipe that with a little oil. Gonna make it easier to go in and out next time. Just a little bit. Now we're going to get a little bit, a couple more drops. And all I'm going to do is run this along the slide rail here. Just a little bit of oil in there. Do the same thing in here. All right, that's about all you need for oil. You could put just a small touch, on these rails, because that's where the slide's going to be moving along. And that's really all you need for lubrication. You don't want to over lubricate because it's just going to attract dust and dirt, but you need enough to keep things a little bit wet so things will move smoothly. All right, so now we're going to reassemble. Take the slide upside down, drop the barrel into the slide so it looks just like that. Take the recoil spring and guide rod. This is the front, this is the back. The front goes in here. Squeeze it a little till it fits in that notch. Should look just like that. Make sure it's centered in here. All right. Now take the frame, line it up like that. Slide that on. Now at this point we want to kind of hold it like this and line up these notches here so you can see, kind of see the hole right through. So line those up, take down pin, these notches face upward so the curve goes in like that. All right, and then push that in nice and flush. Release the slide. Now you just want to work the slide a few times to make sure it feels right. Everything looks good. Now before you take it to the range, you want to go to the function and safety test video that I linked to up above here and in the description, so you can just run through a few quick tests to make sure that the firearm is ready to go and everything is working right. I also will link to a video that I'm going to show you how to disassemble and clean the magazine. The magazine does not have to be cleaned that often, but if you drop it in the dirt or in the gravel outside at the range, you definitely want to open this up, clean it out, and make sure there's nothing in there that's going to cause it to malfunction. All right, if you found this video helpful, please hit like below, check out the links in the description, and thanks for watching.